Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Kirikoff, the owner and lead teacher of Red Lila School of Yoga. And I'm really excited to announce and to share that we have our 200-hour yoga teacher training that is now 100% virtual. It is fully online. And this decision process started back in the beginning of COVID. We were wondering as a yoga school if we were going to take our workshops, courses, and especially our teacher training, if we were going to take that virtual or just kind of wait this out. Our workshops and courses and our mentorships with yoga teachers, that was easy to translate to the online world and to do that well. But all 200 hours of a professional yoga certification course, we weren't quite sure about that. So we didn't rush the process. We took some time. We dissected all of our curriculum and asked the question, can this be done online and can it be done extremely well? Because we really don't want to sacrifice any of your experience or education by going virtual. So after a lot of deliberation and consultation, we did not make the decision in a light manner to decide that actually, yes, our 200-hour teacher training can go fully virtual, which honestly surprised me a little bit because I come from the traditional perspective of yoga teacher training has to be an in-person training. It can't be done well if it's virtual. And not only did I start to realize that it actually can be done really well if it's virtual, but we also experienced it. We had our first full 200-hour yoga teacher training online this past fall 2020. And we had over 20 students in it from seven different states. And they have given us a 10 out of 10 experience for their teacher training. And not only did they rate us in that way, but we saw that in them. We saw that the camaraderie was there, the engagement, the education, the experience, the personal development inside and on the mat. All of that was still taking place in a really great way. So I'm very excited to offer our 200-hour teacher training virtually and to continue to offer that now. So we didn't have to make this choice to go virtual, but we chose to make this choice. We could have waited things out, but I'm really happy that we made that choice because I've seen how excellent the education and experience is. So I just want to take a couple minutes to walk you through our 200-hour training and what to expect with it being virtual. So I'm going to pull up a couple slides here. So let's first talk about the curriculum a bit. I'm going to go through this pretty briefly because our curriculum is on our webpage also. So first and foremost, we cover anatomy, and it's anatomy of yoga. It's not just here's a name of a bone and a muscle, but rather how can we learn anatomy as related to expanding your own yoga practice and being able to effectively and safely guide others as a yoga teacher. Our anatomy is done through online courses and lectures. There are really great quizzes and reviews that we do too, and we really work to apply yoga anatomy to on-the-mat experiences, not just memorization, but a lot of application. Alignment, that also goes in hand with your personal practice. Almost 100% of people, when they join training, say that they're joining this training to deepen their personal practice. Now, a lot of people also say that they want to teach yoga, but some people aren't quite sure if they want to teach yoga after a 200-hour training when they first register for it. So even though we're going to learn a ton of different things about yoga, first and foremost, we approach it from your personal practice, breaking down alignment of over 50 different poses, modifications for those poses, and variations. And we'll approach it by getting on the mat. We'll break down alignment and discuss it first and dissect little bits of movement in different poses. Then we'll practice it and apply it so you can feel that difference and have your growth as a yoga student. We'll cover how to sequence classes, how to do that in a way that, again, is safe and effective and also inspiring and authentic to you. Our sequencing revolves around vinyasa yoga. philosophy of yoga. This is where I geek out fully. Personally, I have my master's in clinical and counseling psychology, and so yoga philosophy is something that I just really love and appreciate. And on top of that, it's the heart of yoga. Before all these physical pieces of yoga came into place, there was the philosophy of yoga, the inward practice. Energetics, this is like the chakras. Energetics, meditation, and pranayama, these are techniques that we learn on meditation and breathing practices. We have guided meditations and guided pranayama practices for you all throughout training, so you can deepen this part of your own practice and learn how to guide others as well. Which brings me to teaching skills, that at the end of the day, this is a professional certification course where you are going to be learning how to teach others effectively. And we're going to break down with some really great teaching skills that we have. We're going to break down how to teach yoga well, how to use your voice, how to use demonstration, and also how to do hands-on assisting. And we, of course, cover ethics, so professional relationships as a yoga teacher, professional ways of being, and business of yoga. Business of yoga and assisting are both in a different color because one of the governing bodies of yoga, the Yoga Alliance, doesn't require that a training school teaches assisting or business of yoga. We believe it is very important to cover both of those areas. How to do hands-on assisting effectively to help students into beneficial alignment and to grow their own practice. And also business of yoga, we spend about 5 to 6 hours talking about finances of teaching. What are the opportunities to teach yoga? How do you do that? How do you teach workshops and private clients as well as classes? How do you market yourself as a teacher? So we break those things down. And our program every year evolves in some capacity, which we're proud of. Every training is different because it has an organic flow to the group who's in the training. But also, while we've led over 20 yoga teacher trainings, we're bringing experience, but we're also bringing the awareness that we know that you have insight into how your experience was and how we could improve that. So what I'm going to show you here, a couple of enhancements that we've made just in the last year to our training for the benefit of our students. So first thing here is our sequencing. When we first started to teach our yoga teacher trainings, honestly, our sequencing was pretty strict. It was, here's a sequence, you're going to teach A, B, C, then D, and keep going until the last moment in Shavasana. And we found that that kind of handcuffed our students a little bit. They were teaching great classes, but felt like they didn't know how to move around a sequence to make it fit for different levels. So what we've done is that we have a structure to sequencing because we know that structure is so important as a new yoga teacher. We take that structure, but within it, we learn why and how of sequencing. We don't just tell you what, but we break down things in a way that you leave knowledgeable and educated to make informed decisions about the class that you will sequence for other people at different levels. Another thing that we've changed is our anatomy of yoga is now taught by a great anatomy teacher named David Keel. It's a course that is an online course, so when we do in-person trainings for 200 hour, we'll still use his online course. You learn in the online course with him, and then when we're together in live hours for this virtual training, we review things and apply things that you are learning in the anatomy course. And energetics, this is the chakras. We've always only taught energetics in like workshops, courses in our 300-hour training. We never taught it in the 200-hour training because we didn't think it was necessary as a new yoga teacher to be learning this. We thought there were other things to really focus on and dive into. But now, really the main reason that we're bringing this into our training is because Yoga Alliance requires it. They said now, training schools, you have to have this piece in your 200-hour training. So that's why we initially brought it in, but now that we've already led it once in a 200-hour training, it worked out really well in the way that we presented it and brought it forward, and are really excited to continue to share this in our 200-hour training. Diversity and inclusivity is very important. We have a guest teacher who comes in who will talk about these topics together, and then after that guest teacher leaves, throughout the training we'll continue to touch on these topics, including things like your language and your cues. How can you cue in a way that's inclusive to everyone without others feeling like they're being excluded? Quizzes. This is something that's new within the last year that is not meant to bring you anxiety and to make you feel like you're not good enough or you're not ready. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. In our quizzes, we have small quizzes throughout the training to apply and review and digest what you're learning. You do have to have a 75% to pass the quiz, but guess what? You can keep taking it until you get it right, and honestly, we give you the answers that hopefully you're not looking at until the very end of after you've already passed the quiz, but they're there just for your reference. And then our manual is the last enhancement we've made in the last year. Our manual is now about 400 pages long, and it is a text that you can reference throughout training. You'll scribble in it and make notes in it all throughout the 200-hour program. It's also there for you as you continue to go forward in your practice and your professional teaching post the 200-hour training. So we're really proud of it, and so far have gotten great comments on it from our students, from our graduates. So our training format, how do we do all of this? What are the hours? What does that look like? The first thing that I just want to say is that our training, we could have said, let's do all 200 hours live on Zoom, where just like in person, we say, okay, Saturdays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. with a lunch break that's in the middle. We could have done that, and honestly, that would have been easiest for us as teachers. But is that the best way for you as the student? And the short answer is definitely not. There's been enough research with online learning in the past and in just the last several months with COVID that shows that online learning is best done with a combination of live hours together and recorded content for you to watch on your own time. So that's what this training is. Live hours and recorded videos that we've just made just for this training, high quality videos. Those two things make up this training. So you're about half of your hours are live on Zoom with us, and the other half are with recorded content that I'll show you in just a moment. So here's our 200-hour training, and there are 4 different parts of this training. Let's just look at each one of these circles together, particularly this first one that's now in white. The live weekend intensives. There are 7 of them, and there's not 7 weekends back to back. It's every other weekend, except for one, there's a 3-week break rather than a 2-week break. So between each weekend, you have 2 weeks. Saturdays and Sundays are 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you have live weekly Wednesdays because it's just too much time between the 2 weeks. You might start to lose steam and energy and motivation. You might have a lot of questions that pile up, and we won't have enough time to get to them just on the weekends. So we have live weekly Wednesdays to keep the energy, the momentum, the inspiration, and to engage as a group. We meet every Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and these live hours are critical. They're critical for your success in this online training. They are an opportunity to digest what you've been learning, but also to apply it to scenarios and situations. And especially the live hours are critical for connection. We get high remarks in our training on engagement, and going online and doing this in a virtual manner will not change that. And in fact, it didn't in the one that we have already led. So the weekly sessions and the weekend sessions are live to connect. You'll be in breakout groups on Zoom. You'll be working with partners on Zoom. You'll be working with a whole group, with all of us, to continue to learn and engage in the training. And then between all of this time, you're doing some work on your own. And then we break down the content to say, hey, make sure you watch these videos, you complete this assignment by X date. So we give you freedom and structure. Both those things really, they come together to just create a successful experience for you. So you can watch those videos and complete those assignments on your own time, as long as they're done by the due date. And then also on your own time are yoga practices. Hopefully you might be practicing yoga 3 times a week. Maybe you were at one point and you're not now, but throughout the training, we will ask that you have a yoga practice 3 times a week. This can be online, in person. It can be with us through our online classes, meaning your teachers in the training or any other teacher that you want to take a class with. We do provide you with online classes for the training that you can take as well. And one thing that I just want to say about the format of the training is that this online training, it has to be great for you, or else we wouldn't be doing this. Like I said at the beginning, this was a conscious choice that we made to go virtual for this training. Our business is built on your experience in education being a 10 out of 10. And if that would not be the case by going virtual, we wouldn't be doing it. We're not going to change any of the depth of your experience just by going virtual. And we're really proud to have seen that happen, that high-level quality experience happen through our online training that we've already run. So let's look at our virtual platforms that we use, and I want to give you a behind-the-scenes peek of what that looks like as a student if you were to enroll in our training. So first of all, we have what's called your student portal. It's your one-stop shop. You log in and you get your links and your information that you need to go forward with your online learning experience. And we make that really easy for you. We pride ourselves on being organized and put together. That's our middle name is structure. And so we make it very easy for you so that your head isn't spinning trying to figuring everything out, but rather you go to one place, one hub, and it has everything that you need. So what you can expect to be using within this student portal is Zoom. We use Zoom for our live online sessions, and we use Zoom in a way that's interactive and engaging. We use a platform called Thinkific. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. It's a platform that we use to house all your recorded videos so you can keep track of what you need to do by when and if you've completed that thing or not. So it's really easy to keep track of. You also have your Yoga Anatomy with David Keel, and that's the same thing. It's really easy to keep track of what videos you need to watch by when, and if you watch them or not. And then we also have a Facebook group. This is optional, however, everyone likes to join it because it's where our students can keep in touch throughout the training and even after you graduate. So it's just a means to have a social connection 24/7, no matter where you are throughout the training. So let me take you to this example of Thinkific, our online platform. I'm just going to show you a little bit about what it looks like and walk you through some things so you can see what to expect. Okay, so here we are. This is what you would see when you would sign on to Thinkific for all your recorded content and videos and what you need to do. So first, what you can see here is that we have 7 sections because you have 7 weekends per training. And the first thing you can see here is that there's a check mark. This is your welcome to 200-hour training. This is what we have you do before you start your training, just so that you can get used to the platform. We have a welcome video for you that's just a few minutes long. And then it's really easy to just kind of play, pause, and go back. And then apply is underneath it. So we show you, okay, here's how you can interact with things. You can click on discussions and start discussions over on the panel here so that you can write questions on each of the videos. And who sees those questions or discussions? Myself, the teachers, and all the students. So even watching the videos is an interactive experience, not just the online live sessions. So once you complete things, it looks like it's a green circle. So let me show you, for example, here's an intro video to section 1, what you'd be doing at the start of the training. So if I'm going to say I watch this video and then I'm going to go down here and click complete and continue, it would take me to the next thing, but look here on the left, there's a green check mark. Okay. Also in the intro video, just want to show you that this is how we help you to stay on track with what is due when. So we give you a schedule to work with. And so for example, for our last training, saying, okay, here's 3.5 hours of content to do in these 4 days. And we show you what things to watch and complete in Thinkific. And then in a matter of 6 days, between Thursday 10:15 and Wednesday 10:21, here's 5.5 hours of content to watch. So we break down the content hours for you in a way that's digestible, that it really makes sense for your schedule, whether you're full-time working or not, that it'll work for you and what your schedule is. And remember, you can do these videos any time of the day, any day of the week, weekends or weekdays. So a video that I'll show you, for example, we just have a lot of different methods of how we share information with you. So for example, you can see here that I'm on the mat here and I'll be demonstrating a couple of things. And then we'll also use an iPad to demonstrate movements of the body in terms of alignment. So we have on the mat demonstration, we have written things also. If I go down to, let's do here, how to sequence the start of a practice, we also have slides. So this is just to share and show with you an example of some of our slides when we have more lectured experiences and learning, not just on the mat. And we also provide you with yoga classes to do. So here's a class of Kate. She is on the mat and teaching class, and I'll just play that here for you. And you can just see the quality of the video, the light. You can't hear it, but the sound is just like it sounds as I'm talking now. And so we really went top of the line with all of the equipment and the technology that we're using for you here. Okay, so that's Thinkific in a nutshell. And I just want to talk about some advantages of online learning, because there are a lot of advantages that honestly, again, I didn't expect that would be so advantageous a year ago, but now I've seen it and I've seen how it really works well. And the first is time and location flexibility. You can be anywhere to do this yoga teacher training. We're based out of Baltimore in Maryland, and we usually just have people from the Maryland area within a 2-hour span who take our training. And this year we had people from 7 different states, the West Coast to the East Coast, down south and way up north. And there's no exact times that you need to complete your content if it's recorded. Now we have our live hours, but it can be completed from anywhere. You can go on vacation still and continue to do your yoga teacher training. The second thing is our learning platform is all in one place. Like I said, structure, organization is our middle name. You have a one-stop shop. It makes it really easy about where to go. With everything being virtual, your head could spin if you have to go all these different places to access what you need, but we have one-stop shop for you to go for when you do your work. And then one of the biggest things is that you can pause and replay. Because you might need more time, when we are live in person, we're in there from 9 a.m. to like 6:30 p.m. and that's a lot of information in one day. And sometimes I see it on our students, their faces, they're zoned out a little bit, I can tell. But if you're at home and you know that, you're tired, you need to stop, or you just didn't get that, you spaced out, you can stop and go back. And then you'll only get a better education by being able to do that. And in the larger yoga community, one of the biggest benefits that our students say they get from training is the connections and friendships and professional relationships they build throughout this training and that they last. And you're no longer just going to be connected to people in the Maryland area, in the Baltimore area where we normally are, but you're going to get a wide network of colleagues, of yoga friends as you continue to go forward with your practice. If you have someone in your training who lives in Texas and you live in North Carolina or you live in Idaho, you can hire each other or work together or collaborate. And that's just going to give you more opportunities as a yoga teacher. So our registration and tuition is straightforward. This information is on our website. You fill out a registration form that has questions like, what does yoga mean to you? It's not to judge you. It's just so that we can get to learn more about you if we don't know you yet. And a $500 deposit that's deducted off your tuition. And your tuition, you can have an early bird rate if you pay in full by a certain date, or a standard rate if you pay after that. And let us know if you have any questions on your tuition or payment plan. We're really happy to work with you. We don't want the finances to be a barrier to entry if you're ready to do this training. So we will work with you as best as possible to make a payment plan that fits for you. And graduation from our school, this is critical because it's not just about the 4 months that you're with us, it's what happens for you afterwards. So you can go on to Yoga Alliance. We also have a link for this on our website to see all of our public reviews that people have written on their own about us. And all of our most recent reviews throughout the years are all 10 out of 10. And you can also see what our students wrote about that. And you can also read that here. These are testimonials from our graduates from our first online 200-hour teacher training from fall 2020. You can pause this video to read these. I'm going to go through them, just go through the slides, but you can pause to read what other people have said. So I hope this video gives you some reassurance or some insight even into what our training is about, so that you know that this would be a good investment of your finances, your time, and your energy to do a virtual 200-hour yoga teacher training with us. And I hope we've conveyed that to you. We've put a lot of time and thought into making this training be impeccable. And it took a lot more work, and it takes a lot more work to run an online training than an in-person training for us. So again, it's not an easy choice, but it's something that we really feel passionate about and are excited to continue to offer, the virtual 200-hour trainings. And we have fun in these trainings. We laugh a lot. We have memories that are made, and often joke that whatever happens in this training group stays in this training group. But at the same time, we take it seriously. We are serious in making this 200-hour training be a really valuable experience for you. So registration's open for our upcoming 200-hour trainings. We would love for you to join us. Reach out one-on-one through an email or phone call. We'd be happy to connect with you one-on-one as well. Thank you.